I think my career began while I was waiting for my composition lessons outside the Severance Hall in Cleveland, where I was studying with a Cleveland orchestra conductor. I would sit in this beautiful park and I would listen to the sounds, and I would have these experiences where hearing the sounds around me seemed as beautiful and as interesting as any of the music I could hear inside this concert hall. And at first I started to think there was something wrong with me, perhaps, that I was hearing the world like this. And then I bought a portable tape recorder and started to make recordings whenever I had experiences like this. Much the way maybe a visual artist might become interested in photography, I became interested in the act of listening as a way of making music. And I left Cleveland late 60s and went to the New School in New York. At that time I was 21 years old and was just trying to figure myself out, who I was, what I wanted to do. You know, I'd left Cleveland where a lot of people thought I was kind of crazy for the interests I had, and the Vietnam War is going on, and it was a very confusing time in some ways. And some very important people were teaching there at the time in the New School for Social Research, and John Cage was teaching experimental music composition. And he gave me an ability to believe in myself, you know, what I was doing. And something that he used to say in his lectures all the time was that music is continuous and listening is intermittent. And I thought if I could make a sound sculpture that's listening, then the listening is continuous. The other thing that happened at that time was there was a very impressive exhibition in the Museum of Modern Art called the Machine Show, the machine in the mechanical age. And it was the first time in my life I'd seen any of Duchamp's ready-mades and his large glass. And the idea of taking a sound that I'd recorded, for example, and using it as a found object started to really fascinate me. And I started experimenting with that idea at that time. And the concert hall didn't seem like a very interesting place to do it because there was something about the formality of that situation that was artificial. And I found if I took a sound and put it somewhere where it wasn't supposed to be and did it in a way that it kind of was believable, that somehow there was something fascinating about that, magical about it. It sort of bypassed people's inability to listen. And so this idea started growing and has been continuing for 40 years. But there was a passage in Duchamp's notes on the green box that influenced me tremendously because he said, musical sculpture, sounds lasting and leaving, forming and sounding a sculpture that lasts. I think that statement combined with John Cage at the time was like two theorems that kind of set me off on this long journey.